Hey, I'm just following orders. Let me get one of those slow motion pictures, bro. One of the slow motion pictures.
You gotta shoot at 60 frames per second.
Come on, that.
They say they wanna hear that raw shit. These niggas claiming that they bullshit. These niggas better move and coach shit. Cause if they make the wrong move and coach shit. You see me, they like, ooh, keep on stopping. I'm on my way up and they ain't gon' stop it. They say they wanna hear that raw shit. Coming up, I'm about to bullshit. They see me, they like, ooh, keep on stopping. I'm on my body, real niggas right beside me. Damn right, I brought my army, going up like a rocket, and can't nobody stop me. These niggas garbage, so watch your mouth, boy. Coming all black, slithering house, call me mouth, boy. I'm off the hip like a cowboy. I'm a king, you should bow, boy. Shorty like, damn, man, you cut up. Nothing I can handle. 144 in the booth, going Rambo. Niggas do you dirty like a stick in a bando. That's why I play the corner like a bum with a banjo. I'ma lead by example. Ooh, keep on sobbing, got this bitch off the hand. Got the juice, got the drip, about to hit the bitch with the salt. It ain't rap, this is salt. Can't taste a bitch unless you with the coke. They say they wanna hear that raw shit. These niggas claiming that they bullshit. These niggas better move and coach shit. Cause if they make the wrong move and coach shit. Hey! One West! One West! One West! One West! One West! Coming up on my
I do it how a veteran be. You better than me. I'm Reggie at the edge of the key. It's all money, no honey. Think you settling? See, you locked up, fucked up, and it's back to the streets. It's One West. You can check the residency. I reside with soldiers died on the soles of their feet. Cause it's death before designer. Ain't no coward in me. Cause I'm cold as a bitch's shoulder. You ain't calling a week. Get the cooking on this beat. Hope you like it well done. Got them killers rolling with me and they all red rum, red rum, red rum. Got you fucking scared some. Get the banging on this beat till my fucking head numb. Black Glock, red drum, black and yellow air ones. Homie, you ain't got a vest. I suggest you wear one.
Told these niggas we was going up. They was doing a lot of talking. Now these niggas ain't saying shit.
Feeling like a legend in this shit. Lil nigga, I'm past veteran. Never feeling third. Lil nigga, I'm past second. Guns, I gotta have them all like Ash Ketchum. Shotty break a nigga ribs up like his wife left him. We all stepping. Kill you with kindness cause I'm dead nice. That 5'7" put you 6 feet, not talking height. That judge giving out 5, but you doing life. These hands are rude GPS. A mean right. That's mean right. We build different, you know the vibes. And we something authentic, we notarized. I keep a 144 because I know a cod. Noah's Ark, you know I'm with animals when we flowing by. We back again, no cap, when I'm with Cap again. Yeah, they say they want smoke until we matching them. Everything righteous, so you know when we get back at them, you get hit up with a K, but no acronym.
They say they wanna hear that raw shit. These niggas claiming that they bullshit. These niggas better move and coach shit. Cause if they make the wrong move and coach shit. You see me, they like, ooh, keep on stopping. I'm on my way up and they ain't gon' stop it. They say they wanna hear that raw shit. Coming up, I'm about to bullshit.
Till they bury me. I'm One West till they bury me. I'm One West till they bury me. I be One West to the death till they bury me. One West till they bury me. I'm One West till they bury me.
I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. They ain't scaring me. Rip the soul out of Pharisee. Speaking heresy and get you fucked up apparently. It's like they daring me. I said chill, they ain't hearing me. They ain't listening. Every bar nitroglycerin. Hit your heart, bring it back to start, make you live again. Get them dividends or we start getting ignorant. I be on that soldier shit. I told you shit phenomenal. Nah, but he a domino. So what you suckers trying to do? Rhyming comical. Guess it's funny until I'm bombing you. Bring apocalypse to them pussy niggas that's popping shit. Team of all-stars. I coach them up like I'm Popovich. Fuck the politics and the lobbyists and apologists. They vagina, so we gon' check them like gynecologists. It's kinda obvious how the situation is ominous. The way I vomit this and regurgitate for the audience. They start applauding this cause the competition is fraudulent. From the era where niggas smoke you up like a parliament. The flow been stupid. Shit has gotten retarded since all the dominance. One west rising to prominent. Cause I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. They want a nigga quiet, mute my maneuvers, but I ride like I got Groupon for Uber. Rhymes hard like they been viewed by Medusa. 9 milli Luger, 17 in the Ruger. Only need a few to sit up in your medulla. Obligata for the regatta, niggas wildin', they win every dollar. They riding by in black Impalas, let the semi holler. The showstopper been as proper since a teeny bopper, but now I'm growing them off Patron and premium of vodka. I put extensions on the Glock, modified the chopper. The swore heavy, war ready, and that's working mama. No marijuana, say I got the loudest silence on it. When I'm up on it, ain't no rapper do it like I do it. A lot of spitties and writers, but when the heat's on, none of them can get to the fire around with me. And I had a nigga spin like a tire, down the D, and I'm still dope as a piper. Every bar burn hard like a spoon with a lighter. Fuel to igniter, I'm winning, coming through with the title because U.P. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me.
All right, let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. Damn right, damn right. Shalom, Israel. Shalom. Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar, Alathan Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai to the sisters. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, out of Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yahanna. We are not affiliated with no other Israelite group or Christian organization, and we teach the truth according to the Bible, and that's that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the real ethnic Jews, according to the historical records found in the Bible and the numerous archaeological, I can't even say the damn word. How you say the word, Shapat?
I can't say it.
Listen, right, the stuff you find in the dirt, the artifacts that the white man go find in the dirt, they prove that we the Jews have always been black and will always be black. You understand? And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that. It doesn't take somebody that's well versed in history to understand that. If you just go look at just the basics, go look at the tombs in Egypt. You understand? Black people we want to associate ourselves with ancient Egypt. We want to associate ourselves with all types of different cultures and ancient societies, when we have a culture far more rich and far more intricate than any other culture on the face of the earth. We have a history that's far more intricate and vast than any other people on the face of the earth. And so for our oppressor to give us quote unquote, what's it called? Black History Month, quote unquote, is a travesty, because of course you can't limit real black history to 1 month. And real black history shouldn't just be taught and talked about for just 1 month. You understand? We're going to go into it a little bit tonight. If you got any questions, type them in the chat. Give me 1 second. Any questions, type them in the chat. Give me 1 second. If you're just tuning in, make sure you like and share the stream. Make sure you like and share the stream if you're just tuning in. Right? Most High in Christ. All right, I'm Precinct Officer 1000 because I got mine. Tonight is the Tuesday night brotherhood class. This is I.S.U.P.K. Washington, D.C. And the topic of tonight's class is Black History Month is watered down history. Black History Month is watered down history. You understand? And there's a reason why I'm saying that. You understand? Because, of course, it's the truth. Everything that we say in here can be proven. You understand? Can be proven. And we're going to prove it. Shapat, if you could, I just sent you an article. If you could read this, Baba Gashan. All right, you got any questions? Type them in the chat. Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barak a thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shema a thumb Bahashim Yahushua to the sisters. You understand? We're going to get it in, man. We're going to get it in just a second. You understand? Whatever you got, you can go ahead and read that, Baba Gashan.
Slaves dread New Year's hurt.
It should be the Black History Month. You see it?
Yeah, just what it just did.
No sweat, no sweat. Make sure your mic.
Anything be coming off.
There you go. No sweat. It's wild now.
Come. Black History Month. Black History Month is an annual celebration of achievements by African Americans and a time for recognizing their central role in U.S. history, also known as African American History Month. The event grew out of Negro History Week and the brainchild of noted historian Carter G. Woodson.
Now, Slack, if I may. Okay, so the history of Black History Month, of course, it comes from, at one point in time, we didn't have a full month. And even still, we don't have a full month. February is the shortest month of the year, and it's 28 damn days. So technically, it's not a full month. But at one point, we only had 1 week. It was called Negro History Week. You understand? Which shows you that our oppressor understands who we are according to the Bible. Because if you go read in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary who Ham is, what you're going to get into tonight, because since it's Black History Month, we should be separating ourselves from anybody else that's not Black. You understand? We want to lump ourselves with the Africans, and we want to lump ourselves with all types of different heathen cultures when the Africans don't have an African History Month. Why is that? Anybody take a wild guess? How come there's not an African History Month in America? Go ahead, brother.
Because we're not the same people, and our oppressor knows it.
Yes, that's true. But more on to it. How come? Wouldn't it be unfair that we have a Black History Month, but we don't have an African History Month? Go ahead.
Because Africans haven't put in the work that we have in this country to be celebrated at all.
Yes, that's true. They haven't, but that's not why they don't have a Black History Month. How come there's no African History Month? We have a Black History Month, You understand? So where's the African History Month? The reason why the Africans don't have a African History Month is because the Africans still have their history intact. The Africans never went into slavery. The Africans never had their culture taken from them and then given back to them in a watered down form. The Africans right now can tell you the original name of the land that they live in today. You talk to an Ethiopian. We had this Ethiopian broad at camp, and she knew that I don't know if this is true. It must be true. You understand? Because of course she's Ethiopian, but she said the original name of that land is called Abyssinia. You understand? Of course, the Bible calls it Cush, but she knows the history of her people and the land she comes from. Just like all races of people have their history, their language, their culture intact. You understand? Except one set of people, the people who have to have the United States government institute 1 month for us to know our quote unquote history. Because why? We are the people whose history will be taken from us. The Bible prophesied our history, our culture, our language, our land will be stolen from us. So those people that right now and that live in the land of Israel that call themselves a Jew, they are imposters. The Bible calls them the synagogue of Satan. They know who they are. They know their original language. They know their culture. You understand? We don't know who we are. A lot of us don't even know our damn fathers. You understand? This Bible is talking about us. You understand? That's why we have a Black History Month, because we are the ones whose history was taken from us, right? If you could keep reading the article.
Okay. Carter G. Woodson and other prominent African Americans since 1976. Every U.S. president has officially designated the month of February as Black History Month. Other countries around the world, including Canada and the United Kingdom, also devote a month to celebrating Black history.
Mm-hmm. So not only is the United States designated February as Black History Month, Canada has done it, the United Kingdom has done it, and other countries across the world, which should let you know that wherever we are on the face of the earth, we are in the exact same condition. Wherever there are Blacks, Hispanics, or Native Americans, you better believe it and understand it, that we are suffering the exact same conditions and poverty and hopelessness and murder and all the curses the Bible speaks of. We're experiencing it wherever we are, whether we're in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, whether we're in Trinidad and Jamaica, in Haiti, and El Salvador and Guatemala, you understand, and Panama, and Baltimore, and LA, and Houston, you understand, and Montreal, and the UK, Brixton, wherever the hell we are scattered to all the Israelite babies who are products of Black men going over to the Vietnam and the war and having sex with them Vietnamese women. They lived exactly how we live. Those Israelite children who don't even know they're Israelites. But guess what? I guarantee you they get treated different than the Vietnamese over there. Wherever we are on the face of the earth, our condition is the same. And that's to be on the bottom, to be a people robbed and spoiled, like the Bible says. You understand? Keep reading.
Okay. Origins of Black History Month. The story of Black History Month begins in 1915, half a century after the 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the United States. That September, the Harvard-trained historian Carter G. Woodson and the prominent minister Jesse E. Moreland founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History.
No sweat.
An organization dedicated to researching and promoting achievements by Black Americans and other peoples of African descent.
Mm-hmm.
Known today as the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, the group sponsored a National Negro History Week in 1926, choosing the second week of February to coincide with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. The event inspired schools and communities nationwide to organize local celebrations, established history clubs, and host performances and lectures.
Keep reading, Bubba. Sure.
Thank you, Papa.
No, you too wild. You too wild.
In the decades that followed, mayors of cities across the country began issuing yearly proclamations recognizing Negro History Week. By the late 1960s, thanks in part to the Civil Rights Movement and a growing awareness of Black identity, Negro History Week had evolved into Black History Month on many college campuses. President Gerald Ford officially recognized Black History Month in 1976, calling upon the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every era of endeavor throughout his slide. Let me start it.
No sweat. What we're reading about right now is the history of Black History Month. You understand? Of course, this is important to understand where this came from. You understand? So we can understand why we have Black History Month today. Right? Go ahead.
Come. Calling upon the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every era of endeavor throughout our history. Today, Black History Month is a time to honor the contributions and legacy of African Americans across U.S. history and society, from activists and civil rights pioneers such as Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks, to leaders in industry, politics, science, culture, and more. Black History Month 2022 theme. Since 1967, every American president has designated February as Black History Month and endorsed a specific theme. The Black History Month 2022 theme, Black Health and Wellness, explores the legacy of not only Black scholars and medical practitioners in Western medicine, but also other ways of knowing birth workers, doulas, midwives, naturopaths, herbalists, etc. Throughout the African diaspora,
throughout the who?
Diaspora.
Yeah, diaspora. Okay, so this is important because now we're reading about who specifically Black History Month is designated for. If you had any question, Black History Month is for the people of the African diaspora. The African diaspora is the what's the word? The scattering. I can't forget the damn word, man. The scattering of our people throughout the transatlantic slave trade from Africa. The African diaspora is referring to when the Europeans came to the west coast of Africa, and they put our people on ships, and they brought us over to the islands and to Brazil and to the United States. And they also took us to the UK. They also took us to other places. We were spread out from where we were brought. And the people now that are the descendants of the so-called African diaspora are not African. You understand? They are absolutely not African. And our oppressor understands that. Our oppressor understands that we are not African. That's why, how come during Black History Month, we're not learning about Desmond Tutu? How come in Black History Month, we're not learning about, I don't know who else Africans look up to? Because this is specifically for the achievements of so-called Negroes in America. You understand? Because Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have contributed so much to this nation and never received our due credit and recognition for it. You understand? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have built this nation. Literally, we built this entire nation. Black people have been here since the inception of America. Gadites, the so-called Native Americans, and Hispanics have been here since the inception of America. Benjamin Banneker was a black man who designed the city of DC, which is the capital of the United States. You understand? Now, there's nothing wrong with Black History Month. There's nothing wrong with our children now getting to hear about, the different people that made contributions to America. The problem is our children don't know, you understand, that Black history starts way before America. This is the problem. The problem is we don't know that our history precedes America. Our history goes way before us being in slavery in this place. According to Black History Month, all you would know is our history starts in the 1950s, because everybody that we have to go learn about, these Black figures, it's all in one certain time period. You understand? Save a couple other people like Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, who were in the 1800s. But for the most part, just name somebody from the Black. Just start naming people. You type in the chat if you watch it. Just start naming the people you remember learning about during Black History Month. Just start naming them.
George Washington Carver.
Stop. George Washington Carver. You understand? George Washington Carver was a brother. You want to know how you got what you call the assembly line today? Henry Ford, a white man who hated the Jewish man, and you might want to throw that out there. He hated the Jewish man. He took his model. He took the model of George Washington's Carver idea of having a plant. That's why it's called, if you go to a factory, they call it the plant, because George Washington Carver was the architect of what you have today called the assembly line and how factories work to mass produce things. Henry Ford stole that idea from George Washington Carver. George Washington Carver was a brilliant brother. You understand? This is back in the early 1900s. Who else? Maparia said Malcolm X. Malcolm X, 1960s. You understand? Malcolm X. And I really never was learned about Malcolm X in school during Black History Month. We weren't learning about him. Not that he's any better than Martin Luther King. This is the problem with our people. We think Malcolm X is the opposite of Martin Luther King. Like, this is where we went. This is where we should have went. That's not the case. These were both. This is like Democrat and Republican. This is like Trump and Biden. Both of them with no benefit to our people. Go ahead, Shapat.
No, they were both Christian.
Yeah, they're both Christian. One was just a Christian that wore bow ties and spoke, went and took on Arabic culture. That's it. Malcolm X. Who else? Who else we learned about in Black History Month? Some of y'all wasn't paying attention to school, I see. No sweat. Who else? Rosa Parks, 1960s. You understand? 50s and 60s. Martin Luther King. That's the chief. That's the chief one you're going to have to remember. Go ahead, Shapat.
W.E.B. Du Bois.
W.E.B. Du Bois, who was a Uncle Tom, if there ever were one. You understand? You notice, okay, just all the people that they teach us about were in one small time period. And you got to ask yourself, what is it that our oppressor is trying to hide from us, that he's only teaching Black children about certain Black people in a certain time period? Or what he said, Frederick Douglass. You understand? Umar Johnson loved to throw that out there. He swear Frederick Douglass is his cousin's cousin or something like that. That's Umar Johnson's whole claim to fame. Yeah, because Frederick Douglass is my cousin's cousin. Like, that nigga feels so proud to be related to the one nigga we learned about in Black History Month. Well, guess what, Umar? King David is our brother's brother. You didn't know that, did you? You didn't know King Solomon is our brother's brother. You didn't know Christ is our brother. You didn't know Moses and Nehemiah and Ezra and Joshua and all the men of old in the Bible are our brothers. You take pride in some man and one man. And listen, I'm not taking anything from the accomplishments of the people we are taught about. That's not what this is about. This is simply to show you just how much of a devil our oppressor is. You understand? Because we learn about the same, 7, 8, 10 people. That's it. The same ones. The exact same ones. And we never knew that this Bible was Black history. We never knew that this book had the lineage and the genealogies of the people who were looking for their history and who they are. We never knew that this book contained the language of a people who speak a bastard language of our enemies. We never knew this book contained the constitution of a people that live lawlessly. You understand? This Bible is the answer to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans' problems. And this Bible is real Black history. You understand? Keep reading the article by Rashad.
Come. The 2022 theme considers activities, rituals, and initiatives that Black communities have done to be well.
No sweat. Get me Isaiah. Shoot. Before you get that, give me Deuteronomy 28 and 68. So like it. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. You understand? Mostly everybody has heard this scripture before, but this scripture proves what we're witnessing right now. You understand?
Come. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
The Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 1. I mean, it's like 28 and 1. Just get some clarity on what's going on right here, because a lot of people always hear the scripture being read and they don't understand the context of this scripture. Go ahead, read.
Oh God. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Verse 2. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Verse 3.
Right, so start right there. This is the Lord speaking to Moses to tell the children of Israel. You got to understand history to understand this. Once again, the Bible is real Black history. Moses bringing the children of Israel out of Egypt is such an important part of Black history that doesn't get talked about. And it's important that it's obvious why that would never be attached to Black people being Black people in Black History Month, because if we knew that we were the children of Israel that were delivered out of Egypt, then we would start to have hope in being delivered out of this captivity in America. You understand? So, of course, we have to look at this Bible and these records like they're of somebody else. And when you read this book before, the truth, you thought you were reading about some other people. You thought you was reading about some white man or some white people. You understand? Or some Middle Eastern or some, I don't know what race we thought they were, but we knew they wasn't talking about us in our minds. You understand? When lo and behold, this book was always talking to us. And it's going to prove that it's talking to us because of what it's going to describe. Go ahead, Shapak.
I was one. Officer Abu Wajid said that the Douglas family said Umar is not their relative.
I would believe it. I definitely believe it. Umar Johnson is a liar, just like all Black leaders. You understand? And like I said, that's his claim to fame. Is Frederick Douglass is my cousin's cousin. It could be true. It could be a lie. Who knows? You understand? It's neither here nor there. You understand? But this is the thing. It's the reason why Umar Johnson wants to be attached to that family and that name. Let's just say if that's not true, you got to ask yourself, well, why would he want to be attached to that name, that family? Because it's one of the few people that have been given prestige by our oppressor. You understand? It's one of the few people our oppressor has allowed us to commemorate and celebrate. You understand? That's the problem. Our oppressor has given us these 8 to 10 people like that we can celebrate and remember, but we're not allowed to go back and look any further in our history and commemorate. We're not allowed to say Christ is a Black man, and we're not allowed to follow after Christ according to America. black men read the Bible in I.S.U.P.K, and then we found out that Christ is a black man like us, and we try to live like Christ, and the world hates us for it. We find out that this book is talking about us, and we try to follow this Bible, and the world calls us a hate group and a cult. You know why? Because America hates Black history. You understand? They hate Black history so much that they had to take control and give us 1 month to allow us to celebrate just these small number of people so that we wouldn't look any further. That's what it was all about. You understand? This is just imagine somebody asks you owe somebody money. You understand? Just imagine you owe somebody $100, and just to keep them from wanting their full $100, you give them $10. He's like, here, just hold on to this. But not only you give them $10, you give it to them in a way that's just so extravagant. You throw a big party, you understand, and you invite everybody, and you just make it so special. It's like, hey, listen, here go your $10. You understand? Listen, I know, I owe you 100, but here's 10. You do that to distract them from really what's left. It's like, this is much. You owe me much more than this, but I'm so focused on the hoopla around this 10 that I don't go to look any further for the rest of it. And that's Black History Month. Black History Month is our oppressor giving us a portion of what we've been seeking, just to appease us to not go look any further about the rest of our history. That's what Black History Month is. And if you are Black, Hispanic, or Native American, you should not be appeased. You should not be appeased. You should not be satisfied with just knowing what they teach us in Black history. You mean to tell me Black history starts in 1865, right? That's when it starts. You got to be a damn fool to believe that. Don't you know we're a people just like everybody else? Surely we have a history beyond America. We do. This is our history beyond America. This history we're reading about predates America. Let's go back to 28 and 68.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
The Lord said he'll bring us into Egypt again with ships. You understand? The Bible calls Egypt the house of bondage. You understand? The Greek word for Egypt is Egyptos, because when the Greeks seen how the Egyptians had Blacks in captivity, Negroes in captivity in Africa, for all you African lovers, you understand? We're not the same people as Africans. If we were, why did Africans have us in slavery? I'll tell you why, because even back then, we knew there was a difference. Even back then, Africans knew there was a difference. You understand? And they didn't put Africans in slavery. They didn't use Africans to build them pyramids and to make Egypt great. Who did the Africans, the Egyptians, use to make Egypt great? The same people America used to make this nation great. Did America go and grab Africans? Nah, they didn't. You think because we came from the West Coast, you think because they grabbed us from the West Coast of Africa that we're African. If you go to Walmart right now and buy bananas from Walmart, does that mean Walmart is the place of origin for the damn bananas? No, that's just where you bought them from. That's just where you got them from. But those bananas had a place of origin before Walmart. The same way the people that were brought into slavery have a place of origin before Africa. You understand? Because we're not African. We were sold into slavery by Africans because Africans understood we're not the same people. And the Lord said we'll be brought into Egypt again with ships. Egypt means bondage. You understand? The Lord said he's going to bring us into bondage again, slavery again with ships. There's only one people on the face of the earth who have went into slavery with ships. And we just read it in Black History Month article. You can look it up. Look up the transatlantic slave trade. You can look up the African diaspora. You understand? And it details how so-called Negroes were put on ships as cargo. They lined us up like cargo on ships, and they shipped us all over the world, chiefly to the Western Hemisphere, and to carry out slavery. You understand? To carry out being slaves. And the Bible said this will happen. The Lord will bring us into slavery again with ships. Keep reading.
Oh God. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Thou shalt see it no more again. This is referring to our homeland. We wouldn't see our homeland again. So for all you so-called Jewish cats out there, that you all your Shivas and your Israel Ben Yisraels and your Ben Shapiros and all that, for the so-called Jewish man and all you so-called Jewish people that are mad at Whoopi Goldberg, you're not even the real Jews. Here's the irony. You want to try to suspend and cancel Whoopi Goldberg for what she said regarding the Jewish people, when Whoopi Goldberg is in fact a real Jew. Whoopi Goldberg is more of a Jew than those devils, those white people that died in the Holocaust. And that's just the reality of it. Whoopi Goldberg comes from the bloodline of the 12 tribes of Israel, which makes her a Jew. You understand? And like Commander General Yahanna said, Whoopi Goldberg, she wasn't siding with black people when she made that statement. You understand? So we shouldn't like praise Whoopi Goldberg or anything, because she didn't do anything for us. But what it was a lesson in that the people that she wanted to love and be like, okay, do you know that's not even her real last name? Goldberg is not even her effing real last name. She decided to change her name to last name to Goldberg because she understood as a black woman in Hollywood, having a Jewish, she did it on purpose, Jewish so-called last name will make her look better on paper. And the people that she wanted to be like now are turning against her. She thought she got beside herself and thought she was one of them. And she found out that she's just a nigga like the rest of us. You understand? The Lord's going to he's going to bring us to Egypt again with ships, slavery with ships, and we won't see our homeland no more. Right now, as we live in America, this is not our land. You understand? Even our Native American brothers that were here first, this is not our original land. You can read in the Bible how it talks about our Native American brothers being brought into captivity under King Salmanasar, under the Assyrians, and how they left the Assyrians to go serve the Most High, and they came to America, the land that was called Ashtaroth. You understand? And they came here to serve the Lord. But of course, having the influence of the heathens, we end up deviating, and that's how you have all the so-called false ideology guides of the Native Americans today. All the totem pole and the Thunderbird and Chief Big Cloud and all that nature worship and all that garbage, that comes from the heathens. The Native Americans are Israelites, and they spoke Hebrew. You understand? And their homeland is Israel, the same way every Hispanic and black person's homeland is Israel. And right now, we don't know our homeland. Our people, not only do we not know Israel as our homeland, most of us have never even seen it, ever. Meanwhile, you got people running around claiming to be the Jews, and they live in the land, which lets you know they're not the Jews the Bible speaks of. They're not the ones the Bible is talking to. Keep reading.
Oh, God. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
And there we shall be sold unto our enemies. Mr. Jewish man, when were you ever sold to your enemies? You weren't sold to your enemies in the Holocaust. You were killed. You were put in ovens. You were stacked in trains and took into concentration camps. And it was such a heinous atrocity to be done to your people. But nevertheless, what happened to you is not in the Bible. What happened to us and what continues to happen to us is found in the Bible. All the way down to child support, all the way down to mental illness, all the way down to our children being murdered in the streets, all the way down to the abortion clinics, all the way down to so-called black on black crime. Everything that we experience right now is found in the Bible. And the way we got there is just talking about it right here. We're the real Jews. We're the people of this book. Keep reading.
Oh, God. For bondmen and bondwomen.
Bondmen and bondwomen. Slave men and slave women. That's what bond means. Bondmen and bondwomen. You understand? Because you're bound. You understand? To be binded up is to be bound, to be shackled. And that's what happened when we were brought in them ships. We were brought to America in the island of Hispaniola, which is Haiti and the Dominican Republic. And we were brought to Jamaica and Trinidad and the Bahamas and Brazil, you understand, and South Carolina and Baltimore and Boston and Virginia. And we were brought here in shackles. We were bound. Just like the Bible said. Keep reading.
Come. And no man shall buy you.
And no man shall buy us. Did those stinking Africans that we love to join ourselves to come and save us? All them Egyptians that niggas want to be like, you homosexuals is cutting your hair off and leaving one ponytail on the top of your head and putting eyeliner on your eye and drawing pictures on your face and wearing all them gay clothes. And it just, it's so simple, man. You're stupid. You trying to join yourself to a people who could give a damn about your black self, man. Did they come and save us? Did any African nation come and save us when we were taken into slavery? Nah. But you want to believe the hype now that Ghana and a lot of these African nations now say, black people, it's time to come home. F you. It's time for us to come home now that we making money. That's all that is. And you know who, you want to know who that's, it's a sidebar. You want to know who that scheme is for? Just take a wild guess. When they tell black people to come home to Africa, guess who's the idiots that go over there? Just take a wild guess who falls for that. Just like they fall for everything. Take a wild guess. Who's buying plane tickets en masse and going to Africa all the damn time, buying all the DNA tests. You understand? And swear this percent African. Just take a wild guess. There you go, Arawadi. Ooh-wee. There you go. Stupid sisters. Stupid sisters. That's who's falling for it. Dumb black women. And I'm not saying all black women are dumb. I'm saying the black women that go to Africa thinking that they go get in touch with the motherland. You're a dumb. You understand? You're a dumb times two. You know why? Because those same Africans that's telling us to come home now could give a damn when it was no benefit for us when we were slaves. You want us to come home. I mean, damn, you could have came over here and got us. The white man, he got on ships. I mean, you could have got on the ship just the same way they came on ships, and you could have came and got us. You understand? If we were the same people, if you cared about us, this is the problem. We're not the same people. And not only did you not come and get us, you're the ones that sold us. You're the ones who had an allegiance with the white man. To this day, Africans love white people. I can't stand Africans the way they love white people. They love white people with a certain love that it just disgusts me. You got Uncle Toms and traitors amongst our own people that love the oppressor. But the way an African love them is real disgusting. You understand? And I just it's easy to see how they sold us to the oppressor. You understand? They never came and got us. Nobody came and got us. Nobody came and helped us. Where was all your white allies when we were taken into slavery? For all you idiot Uncle Toms that think we need white people to join our cause to be more effective. The moment you join white people to whatever we're doing, it's going to fail. We don't need white allies. We need blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to be allies to each other. That's what we need. We don't need white allies. We're not African. We don't need to go to Africa. We need to wake up and read the real history of a people. Everybody know, they say, if you don't know your history, what? What's the famous saying? They say, if you don't know your history, what happens? You're bound to repeat it. If you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat the same thing that happened. And guess what? Our oppressor understood this. And because he understood this, he made sure to put a veil over our eyes when it came to our records. You understand? Go ahead, read.
Oh, God. Chapter 29. These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab. Right. This is what's going on right now. It's like Arawadi said, well, what happened to those famous Egyptian ship fleets? Right. Y'all niggas know the history of how the Egyptians had a wonderful navy. Could sail the hell out of ships. Not nan one of them Kemet ships came to America. Not nan one of them. None of them ships from Africa came to save black people.
You know why? Because the Africans are confederate with our oppressor. The Africans sold us to the Europeans. The Arabs built the ships. The Jewish man paid for the ships. And everybody in the world benefited from the slave trade of our people. Everybody. Every single nation. The fact that there is even in a world economy today is off of the backs of slavery of our people. You understand? Let's get the brother question. He had a question up in the chat. Young man Matthew, let me get his question. If you just tuning in, make sure you like and share the stream. Make sure you like and share the stream.
Young man Matthew said, why can black people believe that Nazis and the so-called Jewish man can be different races, but they can't believe that blacks and Africans are not the same people and we are Israelites?
That's an excellent question, brother. Excellent question. Read that one more time, Baba Kashad. That was an excellent question, brother. You did shit. That was heavy.
Come. Why can black people believe that the Nazis and the so-called Jewish man can be different races, but they can't believe that blacks and Africans are not the same people and we are Israelites? And the Nazis and so-called Jewish man lived in the same country.
I'll tell you why. Give me Hosea 4:6. After that, we're going to go to Colossians 2:8. I'm going to answer your question with these scriptures. It's an excellent question. The brother asks, how come we can believe that the Nazis and the Jewish man, not us, because the UPK knows the truth. We don't believe that garbage because we understand the Nazis and the Jewish man are the same people. That's white on white crime. You understand? But you can believe that somehow the Jewish people and the Nazis are a different race. You can believe that. But the moment we say we are not Africans, your mind starts to malfunction. It's like wires start crossing. You can't compute how we are not the same people as them booty scratchers. You understand? I'll help you. This is why, young man Matthew, we can't see that. Read that, Baba Rashad.
Come. The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
The Bible says the Lord's people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans are destroyed, brother. We're destroyed because we lack knowledge. What knowledge do we lack? That Black History Month is more, that Black History is more than a damn month. Black history is much more than the 10 people that they want to tell us about during the 28 days of this stinking month. Black history is so much more vast, so much more intricate, and so much more interesting than the garbage that they have fed us, that they have watered down. And I'm not saying Black History Month is garbage. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Black History Month compared to Black history in the Bible, you got 100% concentrate, and then you got watered down. And that's what Black History Month is. It's a severe watered down version. It's not even watered down. It's damn near a replacement. You understand? A substitute. You understand? For the real thing. Because our history in the Bible, brother, is just, it's so much. It's so much history in the Bible. From all the way from Genesis, brother, you reading about the creation of the first brother in the truth and the first woman in the truth. And you reading about the first recorded murder. Do you know, and out of all cultures on the face of the earth, the Bible, it has the first recorded murder on the face of the earth. Everybody knows this. Everybody on the face of the earth knows the Bible has the first recorded murder. You mean to tell me our history is not vast? This book is talking about us, which lets you know our history is better than everybody else's. We have a better recorded history than every other race of people on the face of the earth. Go ahead, Shapak.
It's not perceived as that, but Adam and Eve is the record of the first ever man marrying a woman of his own people.
The first recorded marriage. You understand? The Bible has so much history. And for some reason, it's not for some reason, by deliberate reason, you believe this book is fairy tales and fables and bedtime stories. And this is history. We're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We're destroyed because we don't know this Bible is our history. It's our constitution. It's our book. Give me Colossians 2:8.
Come. The book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. Beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
The Bible says, beware lest any man spoil us through philosophy and vain deceit. You understand? This is what's happening. The word spoiled means to be destroyed. And that's what's happening to our people. That's what has happened to our people. We've been destroyed. We haven't been destroyed the way you would think we've been destroyed. We've been destroyed through ideology. So just imagine that. The black community is in the condition it's in. There's murder, rape, child molestation, and depression and drug addiction, drug dealing. There's all types of hell we living in simply because of the ideologies we follow. When you really grasp just how crazy that is, it blow your mind. Like the Christian church, what they teach is the reason why the black community is the way it is. That ideology in the Christian church is why we're destroyed. That religion, the religions that we follow, the mentalities that we have. Everybody say, well, we got to change our mentality. Yeah, it starts by leaving the church. That's the first way to change your mentality. Leave the effing church. The church has programmed black people to only live as a slave and to only think like a slave. The church has programmed black people to act just like our oppressor. And that's why you see black people being so violent. Everybody wants to point out how violent black people are. Where the hell you think we learned it from? We have had 400 years to learn from the best people to ever do it. If you say black people are violent, then now you have to acknowledge that your people are the master teachers of violence, because we watch your people be absolutely terrorists to our people with no recourse. We had to sit and watch you burn black men alive and then take pictures and put them on postcards and send it to your stinking family to remember it. Ain't it ironic that the same people who took pictures of our lynchings and our murders and of their hatred toward us to remember it now want us to forget it? Ain't it ironic? You want to stop teaching critical race theory, but your people took pictures and put them on postcards for the sole purpose of remembering the terrorism that you inflicted upon our people. You're a hypocrite, man. Go ahead, Shapai.
SHALAM, we didn't just learn it from them doing it to us. We watched them do it to everybody in the world, dropping bombs. And even through history, you hear stories of the oppressor, how he tried to conquer the world.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We watch what happened to what the oppressor doing things to other nations. Other nations get justice. The Japanese were paid for what happened to them. To this day, the Japanese and the United States have an alliance. The Africans, they're given jobs when they come over to America. They're given opportunities when they come over to America. The reason why the violence that was carried out against us was so heinous because we have never received justice for what they did to our forefathers. We've never received justice. And that type of violence is a violence that will change your entire way of thinking. To be violated and to know that you're not going to get justice is now going to make you turn out to be like the person that violated you. Just think about child molestation. A child that's molested and the molester gets away with it and continues to live a life comfortably, it will damage that child so much that the child becomes the thing that they hate. They too now become a stinging child molester. Just imagine if we lived in a society where a child is molested and the child molester is killed, put to death. That child wouldn't grow up to be like the child molester because he got justice for what happened to him. And that's what's wrong with black people. We haven't received justice for the terrorism that we face from our oppressor. We haven't received any justice. So now we've become the murderer like him. We've become the violator. We've become the oppressor. And brother, we doing a hell of a job at it too. We're doing a hell of a job. Not only do we got to worry about the police dealing with us, we got to worry about our own people. And that's by design. Our oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. And that Christian church is the house of Satan. And the Christian church is the reason why we hate each other and why we cannot, for the life of us, love our own people and change our conditions. Where we at? Colossians 2:8. Go ahead, Baba Bashar.
Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
Through philosophies and vain deceits. That's how we were destroyed. Philosophies, vain deceits. You understand? Like, let's go and find out who we really are as a people. Nobody ever thought to say Black History Month. Okay, this is the thing. This is why the truth is so important, because I sit back and think about it. In the world, it never dawned on me that the Black History Month is just one selected time period with a certain few selected individuals. Because in the world, you're a slave, so you're content with the portion, the rations of a slave. The moment you free your mind by learning the truth, a slave portion is not enough anymore. So now you start questioning everything. Like, where's the rest? You mean to tell me that this is Black history? That's it? Nah, it got to be more. The water for blocking the cat. It got to be more. This not making sense. And I only started to think like that when we come into the truth. This truth is a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing because you now look at things differently. You look at things for what they are, and that's the reality of things. Where we at?
Colossians 2:8. After the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world.
After tradition of men. That Christian church is full of the tradition of men. Everything they do in there is based off of tradition. What they do in that Christian church has been done since 1619. Since we were slaves, and the pastor chose one black man that took a liking to reading, that he wanted to learn to read, and he would let him learn how to read, and that one man would be the preacher that the oppressor will use to push his religion on us. That's why they sat in those services while our so-called black slave preachers preached, because he was guaranteeing and making sure that everything that was being taught was what he approved of. That's why no devil can come in here. No devil can come into the I.S.U.P.K. because they can't determine and dictate what we teach. This is the Lord's program. And because of that, we now start to teach the truth according to the Bible. You understand?
Right.
Where we at?
There's more on that.
Oh, keep reading, Baba Shaw.
Come. And not after Christ.
And not after Christ. That's the problem. You in that church, you following the tradition of men. You thinking that you serving Jesus. You serving God when you serving somebody else. You're serving Satan. You're serving the oppressor. This is who you're serving right here in that church. This is exactly who you're serving. You understand? Here it go. This is who you're serving. This idol, this beast, the Bible calls. This is who you serve. Give me Deuteronomy 28:37. Since we talking about Black history, let's go into this Bible and let's pull out some history. Let's go into some history for you. And so if you got any questions, type them in the chat. If you're just tuning in, make sure you like and share the stream. Right now, I'm gonna prove to you the Bible's Black history. Let's get some history. If you could read that, Baba Shaw.
Come. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment.
And thou shalt become an astonishment. This Bible is talking about what will happen to our people when we are brought into captivity, and now we start to live a life as slaves. You understand? In this captivity, we will be an astonishment. Every race of people looks at us and are astonished. I was watching this video not too long ago. It's a sister in Detroit. This is about a couple of years ago. This sister killed 2 of her children. And I remember looking at the courtroom and looking at all the devil's faces and how they all just so astonished and they so surprised and they just so like it was just so like, how could a mother do this to her children? Look at these savages. Like everybody looks at us as just an astonishment, like, wow, these people just can't get any lower. They murder their own people. They murder their own children. They sell drugs to their own people. I remember listen, forget about the crack epidemic. Go try to pull up how many news stories was done about the crack epidemic. Every time you turned around, it was a documentary or some news program about crack, and they will find the most crackiest crackhead to put on camera just to astonish the world even further about our people. You got some brother or some poor sister, you understand, on camera, white lips, of course, looking a crackhead, destroyed on purpose, shock value. That's the same reason why the news they've quick to put up the mug shots of black people when it comes to crime. But you notice whenever it's white people that commit crime, them mug shots don't really go up as fast. They damn near don't want to release the devil name. But they'll put our mug shots up all the time because it's meant to keep the astonishment up of our people. And it's not a good astonishment. It's an astonishment like, look at these people. This is just, there's them niggers again. Them goddamn niggers. Keep reading.
Oh, God. A proverb and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee.
The Bible says a proverb and a byword is what all nations are going to call us. Meaning, you want to know how we just read an article about Black History Month. Before it was Black History Month, it was African American History Month. Before it was African American History Month, it was Negro Week. You understand? Like we're the only people who have been called by so many different names. So many different names. And this is the problem. We've never chosen any of these names. We had no say-so in any of these titles that we've been given. We've been called colored, Negro, Africans, African Americans, Afro Americans, Black. This Bible is talking about us. These are bywords and proverbs. Nigger. All these things we've been called by, and the Bible said this will happen. Or what it said, the old DVD crackheads going wild. Yeah, everybody was so astonished with our people that they made money off of it. Forget the DVD crackheads going wild. I remember my uncle got out of prison and he had a book bag full of DVDs. And brother, all them DVDs was just straight ghetto fights, street fights. And I ain't talking about the garbage you watch now. I'm talking about this was just a nigga collected real footage of niggas just on the block and in the hood of us just fighting. Just straight up brawling. And I remember just being a kid and just being so astonished watching, just like, dang, brother, this is who we are. Even we astonished with our own selves. Like, God damn, we go and buy the DVD. Some of y'all still got them old DVDs. That's why World Star became famous. World Star didn't become popular from whatever they famous for now. World Star got popular from us being an astonishment to everybody else. World Star, you already knew it had something to do with us being put in the light of astonishment in a shameful way. You understand? Keep reading. Read where you just read. Yeah, about the show.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee.
Just drop that. Give me Matthew 2 and 13. I'm gonna give you some more history. Let me give some history. Everybody want to talk about Black History Month. Let's talk about real Black history. You understand? Let's talk about it. Matthew 2 and 13.
God. The book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise and take the young child.
Now stop right here. Now we can't talk about Black history without talking about the greatest Black man that ever walked the face of the earth. You understand? And this is how I'm gonna prove to you Christ was Black. If you didn't know this, you understand? This some further prove to you that Christ was black and Christ's people are black. Christ was a Jew, was he not? Yes, Christ was a Jew. And this is the thing with Christians. This is just, it's funny when it comes to logic, they can't understand it. When you say Christ was a Jew, they'll agree with you. Like you just tell a Christian, Christ wasn't a Christian, he was a Jew. And he's like, yeah, everybody know that. Okay. So if Christ was a Jew, which is not a religion, you understand, being a Jew is a race. The Jewish man is not, being Jewish is not a race. Being Jewish is a religion. How do you know? How do you know being Jewish is a religion and not a race?
Anybody can be Jewish.
Anybody can be Jewish. You got Chinese Jews. You got black Jews. You got all type of Jewish. When I say Jews, I'm talking about Jewish. You can be converted into the culture because it's a religion. The same way you can be converted into a Christian or converted into a Muslim. You got white Muslims. You got African Christians. You got Hawaiian Christians. You got all types of Jewish and Christian and Muslim because they're religions. They're not a race. Our lineage, however, is a race. And being a Jew has nothing to do with any religion. Being a Jew is bloodline. It's our blood. It's who we are. And Christ is of this same bloodline. That's what made him a Jew. We're going to read about the history of Christ, of what happened when Christ was born. You understand? We're going to read about it. Go ahead, read from the top again.
I'll call the book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt.
Stop right there. The angel of the Lord came unto Joseph. Joseph is the father of Christ, the blood biological father. Christ was born from Joseph having sex with Mary. That's the only way children are born, boys and girls. You understand? I don't know what else you was taught or whatever vain philosophy and lie you believe. Christ was born from a black man and a black woman having sex. And his parents' names were Joseph and Mary, right? The Lord sent an angel to speak to Joseph. And this angel told Joseph, arise ye and depart. Why is this angel telling Joseph to depart? You might have to know the history. Because King Herod wanted him killed, wanted Christ killed. Because the prophecy surrounding Christ being born, it said that Christ would be our king, the king of the Jews. Herod was the king of the Jews at that time. So for him to hear that there's going to be some person going to be born that's going to be king of the Jews meant what to King Herod?
He's going to take his throne.
Right. Because Herod was an Edomite, a devil, just like all devils, they don't understand our scriptures. He's believing that this baby that's going to be born is going to grow up and go to war with him and then take the throne from him. He's not understanding the scriptures. Didn't understand that Christ is going to come not like how he thought. And so because Herod heard the prophecies of Christ being born and Christ is going to be the king of the Jews, he sent out a decree to kill Christ. And so now they're looking for Christ. And the angel came to Joseph and told him, listen, you got to take Christ, take this little baby and take your wife, Mary, and to flee. Read from that part. To flee where?
Into Egypt.
Into where?
Egypt.
This is some history for you. If Christ looked like this, first of all, let's just break this down. Let's slow it down. If you are fleeing, what are you trying to do? It's not hard. It's straightforward. We got to break it down like this for the Christians. Go ahead.
You're trying to get away.
You're trying to get away from something. You're trying not to be detected or found. If you're fleeing, that's what it means, Christians. If Christ and his mother and his father was told by the angel to flee into Egypt, and they went into Egypt to flee, to be undetected, to not be found, you mean to tell me that this man right here and his mother and father, who looked like this, went into a nation of dark-skinned people to hide. Is that what you're telling me? It's a current theme that's going on right here. Black History Month is a slap in the face to the real history that exists in this Bible. And this is why. Because we don't even know that the greatest man that ever walked the face of the earth does not look like this. Christ was a black man, a nigger. How else can you go into Egypt to flee, to hide, if you unless looked like the Egyptians, but not the Egyptians? We got the Zondervan Van Comeback Bible Dictionary. Read it, what you got from the top again, Bob Shaw.
The book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt.
Right. Christ, his mother, Mary, and his father, Joseph, were told by the angel to flee into Egypt. All right. Now, for all you African lovers and all you so-called blackity black, I'm black, y'all, scholars, right on, brother, soul, brother, and all that garbage. You know, ancient Egypt was a black, let's say that, was a melanated society. The ancient Egyptians were a melanated people. They were a dark-skinned people. The only way that Christ, his mother and father, would be able to flee into Egypt and to be undetected would have to mean that Christ, his mother, and his father looked like the Egyptians. It's an important reason why I said look like the Egyptians, because to look like somebody doesn't mean you are that person. And I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to prove it to you right now. Now, if you heard this before, it might be redundant to you, but this has to be brought out because it's the effing truth. Where is it at? Where we at? Where we at? You could, Chapop. Just read that, Bubba Shaw. Put it in the camera so they can see, Bubba Shaw. Just tell them what that is. Or what he says, seek refuge elsewhere. That's right. That's the purpose of fleeing, to seek refuge, to hide, not be detected. This is the Zondervan Van Compact Bible Dictionary. If you want to do some studying on these scriptures, you might want to go and invest in getting one of these. You understand? Get you one of these Zondervan Van Compact Bible Dictionaries. You got a lot of good definitions in here for words that are found in the Bible. Just read this, Bubba Shaw. Ham, Bubba Shaw.
Ham, the youngest son of Noah.
The youngest son of Noah. Of course, we all know the story of Noah. The Lord flooded the earth and he killed everybody except 8 people. Noah, his 3 sons, and they're all their wives. So Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their 3 wives. That's 8 people. You understand? Everybody understands that history. Every culture on the face of the earth has a flood story. You know why? Because it happened. It's real. The Bible is history, right? So Ham is the youngest son of Noah. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Japheth, and Ham. Keep reading.
Born probably about 96 years before the flood.
Born probably about 96 years before the flood. Keep reading.
And one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. Right.
One of the 8 persons to live through the flood. Keep reading.
He became the progenitor.
Stop. The word progenitor means the father of. This is for Christians, because Christians, you can give a damn about what words mean. You understand? I understand. All you know how to do is all you understand is hitting that note. You flat, you a little sharp. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. That's all you understand is hitting them notes and them harmonies. Here's some knowledge for you. Progenitor means the forefather of. You understand? Ham is the progenitor, the forefather of who? Keep reading.
Of the dark races.
Of the what races?
The dark races.
The dark races. Ooh, it's getting better. Ham was the progenitor of the dark races, the forefather of the dark races. So now let's find out why this is important and why this is even relevant. Keep reading.
Not the Negro.
Not the who?
Negro.
Not the Negroes. The people that are called Negroes today are the children of the transatlantic slave trade, the people that the Bible describes in Deuteronomy 28 and 68, who are the children of Israel, which would make them Jews. So that would mean, by logic, by definition, Christ was a Jew, which means Christ would be a so-called Negro today. So now we're finding out that, of course, why would they have to clarify not the Negroes when it's bringing out Ham was the forefather of the dark races? Why would they have to say that?
Not because Negroes are also dark.
The water, thank you. You see how simple and logical that was? You Christians are not only satanic, but idiotic. The reason why it said Ham is the forefather, the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, because guess what? The Negroes are dark-skinned people. Just like the people we about to find out. Keep reading.
But the Egyptians, Ethiopians.
The who?
Egyptians.
The Egyptians.
Ethiopians.
The Ethiopians.
Libyans.
The Libyans.
And Canaanites.
And Canaanites. These are Africans. That means the Egyptians were dark-skinned people. If Christ, his mother and father, went to flee into Egypt, that means they were dark-skinned people too. But they weren't Egyptian. There's a difference, right? Drop that.
Okay.
Get me. You got any questions? Type them in the chat. Do. Exodus 3 and 9. Exodus 3 and 9. Stop. So not yet. Give me Exodus 4 and 6. Salaki. Give me Exodus 4 and 6. We're gonna bring home the point home before we go to that one.
Okay. The book of Exodus, chapter 4, verse 6. And the Lord said furthermore unto him, Put now thine hand into thy bosom.
Okay, now you got to understand the context. What this is talking about. This is Exodus. This is the Lord talking about Moses. You understand? And the Lord is going to show Moses a sign right here. Now let's read about what the Lord is going to show Moses. Keep reading.
Come. And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold.
Stop right there. When it says he put his hand into his bosom, this is talking about, you remember, Israelites, we wore garments. You understand? We wore cloaks, garments. And Moses had on a garment with a cloak, and his bosom, of course, your bosom is your chest. So Moses put his hand inside of his garment. You understand that the Lord told him to put his hand inside of his garment. Keep reading.
Oh, God. And when he took it out, behold.
And when he took his hand out, behold, look.
His hand was leprous as snow.
Was leprous as snow. Now, the question, what color is snow? If you ever seen it, I know we got some brothers and sisters might live in Southern California, and I guess it never rains or snows in Southern California, so you might not know what snow looks like. Go ahead, Shafat.
Via Facebook, I seen an old man slip on the snow in Cali this year.
See, they're not used to what it looked like. I'll help you. Snow is white. I've never seen snow fall any other color. Now that snow on the ground, it might be a different color because it's been tainted. Stay away from yellow snow. Stay away from brown snow. What snow falling out the damn sky is white. The Lord said, the Bible says that Moses put his hand into his garment and he poured it out, and his hand was leprous, white as snow. Keep reading.
Come. Verse 7. And he said, Put thine hand into thy bosom again.
Now the Lord said, all right, so now Moses looked, his hand is white. The Lord said, all right, now put your hand back in your garment again. Keep reading.
And he put his hand into his bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh.
He put his hand back in his garment. He took it out, and then his hand returned back to its other flesh, meaning back to its original color. If the Jews are white, how come Moses' hand was white and then said it turned back to its other color? Because Moses was a dark-skinned brother, the same way all the Jews were black. All the Jews are black. If Moses was white, if the Jews looked like Ben Shapiro and Benjamin Netanyahu, then why is it that Moses' hand turned white and then turned back? I'll tell you why, because those people are not the Jews. They are the synagogue of Satan. And they had a big part in establishing Black History Month as our so-called designated month, because the Jewish man benefits the most from us just learning about 10 people from 2 decades. They're the ones that benefit the most from us not seeking out our history before the civil rights era, before slavery. They benefit the most from us not wanting to learn who we really are and where we really come from and what's our original language, because they're the ones with our identity. They're the ones with our heritage and lineage and our land. Moses was Black. That's why when he put his hand in his garment and it turned white, and he put it back and it turned back to his color, because he's not white. Moses was Black. The same way all the Jews are Black. They've always been Black. They always will be Black. You understand? Get me? Exodus 3, verse 1. Here goes some more history for you. Some more history. It's Black history. Black history is not just us being kings and queens and whatever garbage that we taught to believe. We was king. We come from kings. Every Black people, and I understand, because we've been so oppressed, we want to have something to have pride in. I'm going to show you that Black history is all-encompassing, meaning real history that documents our people was good and bad. And we're going to read about this. We're going to read about the bad, you understand, of our people. We're going to read about the part of history that most Black people don't want to be associated with. Exodus 3 and 1. Go ahead, Bob Shaw.
The book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 1. Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and led the flock to the backside of the desert, and came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb. Verse 2. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire.
Right. Now this is talking about how the Lord now came to Moses. And of course, everybody's familiar with, not everybody, let me not say that. Most of us are familiar with Moses and the story of the 10 Commandments and everything in the burning bush. This is what this is describing. Go to what verse you in now?
Verse 2, sir.
Okay, good. Go to verse 3.
Book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 3. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. Verse 4. And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. Verse 5. And he said, Draw not nigh hither. Put off thy shoes from thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Verse 6. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.
This is important. This is God running down who he's the power of. Now, if God loved everybody, why didn't God say, I am the God of the earth? I'm the God of the world. I'm the God of the universe. Why didn't the Lord say that? Why does the God always clarify who he's the God over? Because the Lord doesn't love everybody. Go ahead.
I know Muslims always try to start from Abraham, but if that's the case, if he the God of all of them, then why didn't he say the God of Ishmael?
Exactly. It's the easy cut for Muslims, because Muslims know they come from Ishmael. You can easily go to the Bible and find out how the Lord did not choose Ishmael. The Lord chose Isaac. So already you Muslims are not the chosen people. You Arabs, God hates you. He can't stand you, and he thinks you're musty, because you are. You understand? You're a musty people with a musty, dusty religion, and God can't stand you. Just like he can't stand them stinking Africans, just like he can't stand them Chinese and the Japanese, and you damn sure can't stand you white men. You understand? You that oppressors. So
right.
Right? Keep reading.
Oh, come. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. Verse 7. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt.
The Lord is talking to Moses now. The Lord is about to give Moses his mission. You understand? This is the Lord about to give Moses his mission, what everybody knows Moses for to this day, and that's delivering the children of Israel out of Egypt. This is why Moses had to deliver the children of Israel out of Egypt, because we weren't living as the Egyptians in Egypt. We weren't living as Egyptians. We weren't enjoying the delicious life that the Egyptians experienced with all the wealth that Egypt had. You understand? You're going to find out just how we were living in Egypt. You understand? If you're Black, Hispanic, or Native American, we're going to get some history about our people in Egypt. Since everybody's so fascinated with Egypt, let's find out what was going on in Egypt when we were there. Keep reading.
Oh, God. And have heard thy cry by reason of their taskmasters.
A taskmaster is a slave master. The word taskmaster is somebody that's the master of your task, to make sure someone who makes sure that you complete your task. That's a slave master, or what they would call an overseer. And just like in America, when we were slaves and we had people that made sure we had to pick a certain quota amount of cotton or whatever we were picking, or tobacco or sugarcane, it was the same way in Egypt. We had Egyptians, Africans ruling over our people the same way the white man did. And it was a sore affliction. We lived in hell. You understand? The people that you want to love and associate with and all that Egypt, Kemet, garbage, them Africans hated us, man. The same way the oppressor hated us. This is how much the Africans hated us. The Lord, keep reading.
Oh, come. For I know their sorrows. Verse 8.
The Lord said he knows our sorrows. The Lord seen our affliction in Egypt. You want to look back and think Egypt and Africa is a part of our history, when it's part of our history, but it's not a part of our history the way you wanted to believe it's a part of our history. You go but look back in Egypt, and Egypt was a time of sorrow, was a time of affliction and pain for our people. It wasn't what you want to associate it with. We weren't the pharaohs. You understand? We weren't the people that enjoyed Egyptian life. We were the people that made everything comfortable for the Egyptians to live deliciously. Keep reading.
Come. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of the land onto a good land, and a large onto a land, following with milk and honey.
Right.
Onto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the
go to verse 9, Bible Shaw.
Come. Verse 9. But therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them.
The Lord said, the cry of Israel has come up to the Lord. The same way you got Black mothers mourning and crying. Laquan McDonald's mother, the brother that was killed in Chicago by those racist devils on the police force. Ahmaud Arbery's mother, the Lord hears her cry. The Lord hears the cry of George Floyd's family. The Lord hears the cries of Sandra Bland's family, of Emmett Till's family. The Lord hears your cries as you live in oppression, as we live in oppression. And not just the murder, but just the taxes, the everything that's in this society is designed to oppress us, and it's working. And brother, the Lord hears our cries, because just like Egypt was not a place for us, America is not a place for us. And the Lord heard them cries, man. The Lord seen the oppression of the Egyptians. While you want to associate yourself with them stinging Africans, them Africans hated us, and the Lord hated them. Keep reading.
Come. Verse 10. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Verse 11. And Moses said unto God, who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh?
You start right there. Give me Exodus 11:7. The sister asks question, how do Jewish people justify being the original Jews? Oh, it's easy. That's an excellent question. That's an excellent question. I'll get your answer. Let's get the scripture and I'm gonna get the answer for you right here.
Come. The book of Exodus, chapter 11, verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue.
Against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue. This is talking about the Lord was plaguing Egypt because the Lord wanted Egypt to let go of his people because our people were suffering in Egypt. We're the ones that built the pyramids. You know how you know we're the ones that built the pyramids? Because why are there pyramids in Egypt? And there's pyramids in South America and in Mexico and in America. You didn't know those pyramids in America, did you? You didn't know that. What's the common denominator? Us. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are one people. And the same way we built them stinking pyramids in Egypt, we built them over here as slaves. We're the slaves, man. We're the slaves. I know that's a part of history that niggas don't want to hear. We don't ever want to, we don't want to associate ourselves with that part of history because it's like, how can we be the slaves in America? And damn, we were slaves and then too. Yes, we were the slaves then too because of our disobedience. The same way we're the slaves now because of our disobedience, right? Where did you go ahead?
My question is like with all these Kemet people, they believe that we were the Egyptians back and we was the kings of Egypt. Well, who do they think the Israelites were? Or do they not believe they were in the Israelites?
That's the thing that is flimsy. They don't. Okay, some of them don't believe they were Israelites, and then some of them just believe that they're African. They just think that I don't know what they think. Don't get me to get the line. To me, you better off being a Christian. To me, I just don't understand that African garbage is trash. The Christian church is trash too, but I can understand how you can be a Christian. I can understand that. You understand? Because that's a strong delusion. Go ahead.
It's a lot because just like we say today, don't think just because we the Israelites and reincarnation that you was Peter or you was Paul, you might have been Judas. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But why do they think that they were the kings, the Egyptians? Why weren't they the Israelites if they think they African?
Low self-esteem. That's what, brother. We got low self-esteem as a people that we are willing to attach ourselves to another people's history instead of accepting our own history. Because the reality of it is every race of people, their history is not all good. Every race of people, they have a history that's dark and that's like, damn, that's depressing and that's sad. And then there's a part of history that's like, oh, that's amazing. We're not gonna have time to get into it. But as we read about how we were slaves in Egypt, you can read about the times in our history when we ruled the earth, when all of our land was successful and prosperous under King Solomon. That's a time of our history where all the kings of the earth came to get wisdom from a black man named King Solomon, the son of David. Our history is vast. And if you want to be selective of what part you want to take, you're just like the white man. You are just like the white man. Read where you at.
The book of Exodus, chapter 11, verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue.
Right. This is the Lord is about to kill the firstborn of every Egyptian. You understand? This is the last plague that the Lord put on Egypt before he brought us out of the land of Egypt. It's called, that's why today we have the Passover. We observe the Passover being the true descendants of the children of Israel, because the Passover commemorates when the Lord passed over the children of Israel when he sent the death angel to kill the firstborn of every Egyptian.
Right.
You understand? Because of their oppression and affliction of an oppression and afflicting us. And during this time period, the Lord said, not a dog shall move their tongue against us, meaning no heathen. This is referring to not an actual dog. You understand? It's not talking about a dog shall bark. It ain't got nothing to do with that. The Lord is calling these heathens dogs. And as the Lord is going to bring us out of Egypt, not any filthy heathen is going to speak against us. because the Lord is going to put fear on these heathens for what he's getting ready to do. That the people that talked about us and called us all type of names, they're going to be scared to speak against these people because they're going to understand these people have a power. These people are protected. It's like you had your hand raised.
It's like y'all gonna say, basically the Lord saying nobody better not say nan not.
Yeah, they been saying not a nan, not a word. Not nan, nothing. That's what it's saying. Nobody better not say. And this is just what it is. You gonna watch when them chariots break this sky, crack the sky, and they gonna see that nigga named Christ on them spaceships, brother. Nobody's gonna be speaking against us in that day. I know we the scum of society now. Black women to you is just whores and tricks, and black men is just thugs and criminals. You better not say nothing. You won't say nothing in that day. The same way nobody had nothing to say in that day when the Lord delivered us out of Egypt. Keep reading.
Okay. Against man or beast.
Against man or beast. Right? You don't say nothing against us or none of our property. Keep reading.
Okay. That ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
The Lord put a what?
A difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
Here's some history for you. We're not Africans. We have nothing to do with Africa. The Lord put a difference between us and the Egyptians. So why is it that you and your stupid mind now want to lump us together when the Lord made it clear about 4,000 years ago, we're not the same people as the Egyptians? You're an idiot. You're a damn idiot. We're not the same people. And the Africans will tell you out their own mouths we're not the same people. You understand? Drop that. Get me. So now let's go answer the sister question. Give me John 8:44. Let's break this down real quick. She asks, how do Jewish people justify being the original Jews? I'm going to show you right here. I know it's mind-blowing to know that you have a people that can spit this lot, spew these lies so blatantly when the records is right here in front of us. This is how blatant these devils are. I'm gonna show you that the Bible speaks about this. 8:44. John 8:44. If you're just tuning in, make sure you like and share the stream. You understand? Go ahead.
It's a lot, y'all like that.
Yeah, me too.
Book of John, chapter 8, verse 44. Ye are of your father, the devil.
Ye are of your father, the devil. This is Christ speaking to the Sadducees and Pharisees, the religious leaders of that time period. You want to know who the Sadducees and Pharisees would be today? Creflo Dollar, T.D. Jakes, Juanita Bynum, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Martin Luther King, your pastor, your mother's pastor, your grandmother's pastor, your religious leaders, our religious leaders as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? That's who the Sadducees and Pharisees are today. And just like today, we speak against these Christian pastors, Christ spoke against them as well. And Christ called them, Christ said to them, you are of your father, the devil. Why? Why did Christ say these religious leaders were of their father, the devil? The same way, if we say Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton are of their father, the devil, who do Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton serve? Who would be their father? Go ahead. Our oppressor. That's what Christ was saying. That's why he called them, you are of your father, the devil. Because just like those Sadducees and Pharisees of that time of old served the oppressor, our religious leaders serve the oppressor today. You didn't know Jesse Jackson was an FBI informant, did you? You didn't know that, did you? You might want to look it up. You didn't know Abernathy and Al Sharpton, all of them was working with the FBI. You didn't know your Christian pastor is preaching a doctrine of our oppressor. And that's why the Christ called these religious leaders, you're of your father, the devil. In that time period, who was ruling over us? The Romans. And the Romans were paying and put in charge these religious leaders to make sure black people stayed in line, stayed in their place. And Christ is checking them. He said, you are of your father, the devil. So now we know Christ is calling the Romans the devil. He's saying this to the Sadducees and Pharisees who are black people, but he's saying you do what they do. You're like these devils. So Christ is calling the Romans the devils. Romans are white people. Keep reading.
Ye are of your father, the devil,
Uh-huh.
and the lust of your father ye will do.
And the lust of your father ye will do. Keep reading.
He was a murderer.
He was a murderer. Keep reading.
From the beginning.
From the beginning. Keep reading.
And abode not in truth.
And abode not in truth. Keep reading.
And abode not in the truth.
Right.
Because there is no truth in him.
Right. Give me Genesis 4 and 12. Quick. I'm about to go through this real quick. The sister says, "Salagi, sir, could you repeat the name of the book you're referencing, Baba Shah?" Name of the book. Which you talking about? The Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary? I think that's what you refer to, sis. The Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. You know what I mean? Matthew says, "Salagi, sir, well, who do the Kemet people think the slaves of the Egyptians? Who do the Kemet people think the slaves of the Egyptians?" I'm not understanding your question, brother. Retype that for me, Baba Shah. I'm not quite understanding what you're asking. You got that? Go ahead and read, Baba Shah. Now, we just read, Christ said, "You are of your father, the devil. He was a murderer from the beginning." Let's go to the beginning. What's the beginning of the Bible? Genesis. Let's read what Christ is referring to. This is how you know the Bible is all one spirit. Christians would have you believing that this book contradicts itself, when this book only confirms itself more and more and more if you understand the truth. If you don't have the truth, then of course it's going to be contradictory to you, because the doctrine that you believe is contradictory. This Bible in the black and white is not contradictory. It proves itself all over and all over again throughout all these scriptures. We just what verse, what chapter we was in? I'm talking too fast. What book we was just in?
The book of John.
We was in John. John is in the New Testament. Now we're about to go to the Old Testament, right? Christ said, the devil was a murderer from the beginning. Now let's read. What is he talking about? Go ahead.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4. You said verse 6.
4 and 12, Baba Shah.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 12. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength.
Now, right here, this is the Lord giving the punishment to Cain, because what did Cain do? Cain murdered his brother Abel. This is the first recorded murder in all of history. And I'm talking about not just this is our history, but on the history of the earth, the Bible has the record of the first recorded murder. You understand? This is what Christ was saying when he said, "You are of your father, the devil." These devils were murderers from the beginning. Our oppressor today has the spirit of Cain. You understand? He does not, Christ said, he's a murderer from the beginning, and he did not abode in the truth. The truth is not in him. We're going to find out just how these Jewish people were able to claim our identity. Keep reading.
A fugitive and a vagabond.
And what?
A fugitive and a vagabond.
What is a fugitive? Shapat?
Somebody who's running from the law.
Somebody that's running from judgment. Judgment. A fugitive today, okay, you got a warrant out for your arrest and you don't turn yourself in, you're wanted. You're a fugitive because you have committed crimes and now you don't want to pay for the crimes you committed. And this Bible is describing a race of people who perpetually don't want to take responsibility for their crimes, who don't want to serve, who don't want the judgment of what they've done to God's people. You understand? I think we all know who that is. They just let out the murderer of Laquan McDonald. He did 3 years in prison for murdering Laquan McDonald in cold blood in Chicago. There's people who run from judgment. That's why the Bible calls them a fugitive. And what else did God called these people?
A vagabond.
And vagabond. What is a vagabond? Shapat?
A person without a home.
A person without a home, a bum, a homeless bum. These people are a people that run from that commit crimes and then run from justice, and they have no home. This Bible is describing the so-called white man. The Jewish man Everywhere the white man goes on the face of the earth, he commits crimes and he doesn't pay for them. And then what else does he do? He steals somebody else's land and calls it his own. You understand? Maparia said person without a home. Exactly. Go ahead.
Sloppy then calls them, then says land don't belong to them and they don't belong to them.
Exactly. The white man came over here and murdered our Native American brothers. 77 million of them, murdered them. They even murdered, damn near made the buffalo go extinct because they knew that was a major source of our economy of our brothers' economy as a Native Americans. They murdered our Native American brothers and they never paid for it. They never served any criminal, any punishment for their crimes. And then they stole the land and called themselves the Americans. That's a vagabond. A homeless person has no home. You ask the white man, where's your original home? You think Israel is your home, Jewish man? That's not your home. You're a vagabond. You're a homeless man occupying a home that doesn't belong to you. And not only are you homeless, you're a fugitive because you committed crimes to get in that home. You murdered the original homeowner and you murdered the children of that homeowner, and you confused and lied to the children of the children that you destroyed. So now the home that you occupy belongs to us, and we don't even know that that's our land. You understand? We don't even know that's what that is. Give me Romans 1:25. Just to break down, this is how the Jewish man has been able to, let me go back to the question, justify being the original Jews. This is how. Just to break down for it right here. 1:25.
The book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 25. Who changed the truth of God into a lie?
Who changed the truth of God into a lie. You understand? This is what they have done. Because but the Bible just said they are the devil and the truth does not abode in them because there's no truth in them. Everything that they speak is a lie. Every word that comes out of their mouth is a lie. And that's why we say the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of,
right,
because the word devil means deceiver.
Right.
And these people spoke lies to deceive black people, to deceive the people who should know what this Bible is talking about. Who else should know? Who else more to know what this book is talking about better than the people who it's talking to? And just think about how backwards that is. This book is written by us, for us, and we don't even know it's talking to us. That's how strong these lies are. Read that again.
Book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 25. Who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the creator.
They changed the truth of God into a lie. You understand? What's the truth of God? That blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the children of Israel. The Jews are black. They've always been black. And somehow now we think the Jews look like this. Somehow now we think the Jews are the people that are in that land walking around here, shalom, yeshiva, yeshaba, all that garbage. So somehow we think they're God's people. How the hell, this is old UPK right here. How the hell you the original people of that land when all your people getting skin cancer from living over there from the sun? Because you don't belong there. Surely, if that's your original land, y'all would be comfortable to the conditions. But those devils, those Caucasians that live in Israel are getting skin cancer by the dozen because they're not used to living in those conditions. You know who's used to the heat? You know who's used to those conditions, that tropical weather? Ooh-wee. Ain't it funny how I always said, you notice black people, when we get in tropical environments, our hair even grows better. Everything about us gets better in that environment. Your beard, your hair gets more moisturized, and your skin get nice and evened out, and everything about us in that weather is better. Them oppressors get in that weather, and they gotta cover up their arms and wear SPF 100. You understand, and then walk around with umbrellas because it's not their land. They come from the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. That's why they're called Caucasian. You understand? Because they are cave people. The Bible calls them people that dwelt in the clefts of the rocks. They are the caveman. That's who they are. They're not used to being in that environment. It's not their home. They're people that live in a place that doesn't belong to them. Keep reading.
Okay. Who is blessed forever. Amen.
They take the truth of the lie, and we started serving the creature and not the creator. This is the creature. This is the beast. This image is the reason why the Jewish man has been able to assume the identity of the original Jews. Because while we were learning in church to serve Jesus, they were learning our records. You understand? They took our identity and then gave us this garbage religion. The fact that we don't even know that Christ is black is proof of just how strong their lies are. Christ is a black man, you understand? And Christ is coming back to save black people, the Jews. Give me Revelations 2:9, Baba Shaw.
Oh, come.
Revelation 2:9.
Come. The book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation.
I know thy works, thy tribulation. This is talking to a people this is only talking to one set of people. And it's proof. The Lord says he knows our works. The Lord sees us working. The Lord sees how we the people that make America run. We the ones that clean up for these stinking devils. We're the ones that take out their trash and clean their office buildings and make this entire society run off of the things that we do. Everybody say if we hate it in America, we should go back to where we came from. If black people decided to leave in mass today, they would not let us leave. You better believe that when I tell you. They get mad at us because we decide to go to HBCUs. That's how you know they don't want us to leave. That's how much they need us. They hate us to be around them, but then they get mad when we decide to leave them alone and join our people. How are you mad that black people are now deciding to go to schools for black people? You know why? Because they really need us to be around them. They have always needed us. Just look at the very beginning of our relationship. They came to get us. We didn't go and seek them out. They came and sought us out because, contrary to popular belief, we don't need the white man. The white man needs us. He's always needed us. And that's why it's important that we understand we must separate from America spiritually, because then you'll finally see this place fall. Right? The Lord said, I see your works. I see your tribulation. What is tribulation? Hard times. They made a whole show called Good Times. And ironically, it's about nothing but hard times. You understand? And that show spoke and resonated to a lot of black people because it was our reality. We live in a society and we live lives that is full of poverty and depression and worrying and suffering and single parent homes and divorce and child molestation and rape and murder. The things that we suffer is not normal. And we have become desensitized to it. But the Lord, he's not desensitized to it. The Lord sees it. He sees our works and our tribulation. Keep reading.
And poverty.
And what?
Poverty.
And poverty. Don't nobody know poverty more than us. This is how you know. This is not talking about them stinking Jewish people, them imposters, because they don't live in poverty. They live the most deliciously on the face of the earth. They're the ones who control the value. You want to know why diamonds are worth what they're worth now? Because of the Jewish people. They're the ones that assign such a high value on diamonds because that's who had control of them. They don't live in poverty. Wherever they are, they don't live in poverty. They have entire communities in New York where they have their own police force. They own all their buildings. Right now, if you go to New York, guess who owns all those slums, all those project homes and those slum houses? The Jewish man. They own the buildings while we live in poverty in those buildings. It's a funny relationship because the Bible is trying to show you who's a Jew. The real Jews are in poverty. We're the ones in poverty. We're the ones that have to decide if we're gonna pay, if we're gonna get, how we're gonna get a tank of gas to get to work, or we're gonna pay this bill. We gotta decide what bill gonna get paid and what bill doesn't get paid. And we're the ones that live a life of that. You understand? Keep reading.
But thou art rich.
But thou art rich. The Bible says we're rich. Why are we rich? Shapa?
Because of who we are.
Because of who we are. We're rich because of these records found in the Bible, the lineage that we come from, the culture that's associated with our people that we are attached to, the covenant that the Lord has given us, the brotherhood that exists amongst our people in the I.S.U.P.K. That's why the Bible says we're rich, because while these oppressors live deliciously off of stolen goods, that rightfully belongs to us. That's why the Bible says you're rich. Don't get it twisted. You see us living in poverty, that day is going to come to an end, man. And you're going to see just how the Lord said we are rich because we are God's people. And you can't withhold from us forever for what the Lord always intended for us. Keep reading.
And I know the blasphemy.
Now it's flip. Now it's flip side. The Lord was speaking to us first. Now he's speaking to somebody else. He said, and I know the blasphemy. What's the blasphemy? The lies. The blasphemy is lies. Keep reading.
Of them which say they are Jews.
The Lord says, and I know the blasphemy. Blasphemy is like a severe lie. The Lord is saying, I know the severe lies of them that say they are Jews. Go ahead.
God, blasphemy is a lie against the Lord, right?
Right. Severe lie. And the white man didn't lie against us. The white man lied against the Lord when he assumed the identity of the Lord's people. Who are the only people on the face of the earth that call themselves the Jews? No, you can't say black people. You can't say us. We just now finding out we Jews. You understand? I'm talking about majority of our people, and majority of us still don't know we Jews. A lot of some of y'all didn't know you were a Jew 3 years ago. You know who knew they were, who claimed to be a Jew 3 years ago, and 30 years ago, and 300 years ago? The so-called Jewish man. He's the one that has been calling himself the Jew on the earth. He's been the one. And the Lord said it's a lie. The Lord hears the lies of these Jewish people. Keep reading.
And are not.
And are not. They claim to be the Jews, but they're not the Jews. Keep reading.
But are the synagogue of Satan.
But are the what?
Synagogue of Satan.
The synagogue of Satan. That's what they are. The synagogue of Satan. That's why Christ called them the devil. They are the synagogue of Satan, man. Everything that they do is against God. It's against God, man. They have an identity that does not belong to them. And the Lord is going to take it back. And we're doing it right now in the I.S.U.P.K. That's why if you are Black, Hispanic, or Native American, man, you go out there and buy you a shield. Don't listen to no damn devil or some fake Israelite that says this is a star of Molech. That's white supremacy propaganda to get Black people to be scared to wear this, to run away from this, because historically, this has always been the insignia of the real Jews. This is King David's signature. If you Black, Hispanic, or Native American, go buy you a shield of David and you rock it, man. You rock it. This is how you know this is ours, because it's always controversial when a Black person wears it. It's not controversial when a white boy wears it. But a Black person wear it, a sister wear it, it's controversial, because now they putting two and two together, because we're the real Jews. You go get you a shield, man, and you getting the UPK. Keep reading. Where you at?
God, that was it.
No, that's the end of that. The brother said, so who does Kemet think the Egyptian slaves were? Kemet believe. Okay, don't give me the lion. I don't know who they believe the Egyptian slaves were. I just know they believe they weren't the slaves. Black people that's in a conscious community, they believe that they were, in fact, the Egyptians. You understand? I don't even think they believe we were. I don't think they believe there was slavery in Egypt. I don't know what they believe, man. You understand? I do know they believe that they are the Egyptians. They're not the Egyptians. The people that's claiming to be. This is how you know who's not Egyptian. The people in the conscious community that claim to be Kemet, because Kemet, that whole ideology was created by a white man. The real Egyptians don't claim to be of Kemet or of none of that garbage. The real Egyptians know the Egyptian, and they're not over here. You understand? They will be the people of Sudan today, because the real Egyptians were driven out of their land by the Greeks. The people that live in Egypt today, even that's why the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary said that these original Egyptians were dark-skinned people. You go look at a so-called Egyptian today, they light skinned. You know why? Because those are Greek bastard babies. Because Alexander the Greek, when he conquered that area, he conquered Egypt. You understand? And a lot of his people had sex with them, with those Egyptian women, the real Egyptians, and they created them bastard babies that now claim to be Egyptian. The real Egyptians are somewhere south. They drove the real Egyptians south, and I believe they're the Sudanese people today, the real Egyptians. You understand? The Sudanese people, them big-headed, dark-skinned, tall, ugly Jones. They the real Egyptians. You understand? We've never been the Egyptians, and we never will be the Egyptians. We are black according to the Bible. Go ahead.
Sorry, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, how do they just figure they were the kings and not the people who in South America today, or you know what I mean? I mean South Africa today, or the Sudanese. How do they know that they the Egyptian?
Yeah, that's the problem. When you have low self-esteem, you'll just attach yourself to anything. You understand? You have low self-esteem will make you do things that don't make sense. You just ask a woman. Ask a woman with low self-esteem the many terrible decisions that she's made. Ask a brother with low self-esteem the many terrible decisions he's made. And as a people, we have low self-esteem, and we make terrible decisions, and we attach ourselves to Africa. This is the thing that I can't understand. If it's about the melanin, how come we don't attach ourselves to the dark-skinned East Indians? Why we don't attach ourselves to the dark-skinned Aborigine people of Australia? Why we don't attach ourselves to any other dark-skinned peoples that exist on the face of the earth? Why do we attach ourselves to specifically Africans? You know why? Low self-esteem. Because in our mind, Egypt was a great civilization. We don't know nothing about no East Indians being great. We don't know nothing about the Aborigines being great. We know that Egypt was a great civilization. And because we have low self-esteem, we are fighting to feel like we were something. And that's why we attach ourselves to Egypt, because Egypt was a great civilization at one point. And that's who we want to be. Well, I hate to break it to you. If you are a Negro, you were the slaves in Egypt. The same way, when you look at the history of America, you will be an idiot to try to say we were the Americans. We're not the Americans. We are the slaves. You understand? The white man is the so-called American because he's the one that established this nation. This is his nation. This is not our nation. This is a white man's nation. And the same way you would call yourself Egyptian, that's like saying you are American. The white man is showing you every day you're not American. You don't have the same rights and protections that Americans have. No, you are a slave. And it's nothing wrong with that understanding, because once you understand you're a slave, now you'll seek to be free. The I.S.U.P.K is the way to be free. That's it. This is the way you be free. Come in here. Learn who you are. You got to get rid of that ideology first. Get rid of these vain ideologies and philosophies, and then start to do the work now to fix our people. And that's what we're doing in the I.S.U.P.K. Go ahead.
The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
You're absolutely right, brother. The white man is the devil the Bible speaks of, and he's going to always be the devil, and we're going to always be the Jews. You understand? And that's real black history. You want to talk about black history? Teach your kids that they come from the lineage of King David and King Solomon, and not just the kings. Teach them that they come from the lineage of the people that were slaves in Egypt. Teach your kids all history. You understand? Teach them all of our history in the Bible. Don't do what the white man do and try to critical race theory our history. Don't do that. Don't try to pick and choose what you want to remember. Teach your kids all of our history, that we come from traitors like Judas, and we come from kings like David, and we come from the people in the Bible. You understand? That's who we are. With that, we're going to pass the class over to Priest and Officer Shapat Daya.
I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yahanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shut themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means 10th in Hebrew, and it's pronounced I.S.U.P.K. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you give to the Treasury Department or teacher, priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation. Purim, 14th day and the 15th day of the 12th month. Monday the 14th of February and Tuesday the 15th of February, 2022. You can find this in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 20 through 31. Remind Akim and Akwati to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black hairband and scarf. And with that, I say imagine, which means to stand. We'll give a courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, imagine Shabbat. Imagine, Barak, Yahanna, Yahanna,
Yahanna,
Yad Yamatal, class dismissed.
All right. Make sure y'all like and share the stream. Tune in to Commander General Yahanna's Black Watch every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Y'all tune in, man. And also, the Purim is February 14th and 15th. If you're able to, get in touch with the nearest camp leader near you in the city near you and come out and enjoy some brotherhood, some food, some drink. You understand? So like, I don't know if this one is a feast. Just come out to the class. You understand? Just come out to the class. I believe it's a feast. It might not be, but either way, just come to class and be with your brothers and sisters, man. Everybody talking about Black History Month. Well, come be with black people. Let's make history this month. Right. You understand? With that, shalom.